Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Deborah and today I'm making some pocket pages with these botanicals. So I've got a couple of different sorts of botanicals out and also some plain white cardstock. Now the reason I'm using the cardstock is because these pages are very thin. So they're not going to be very good. They're plain on the back, but when you put them in your journal, they're probably going to be a bit thin and maybe they'll bend, maybe they'll rip. So I don't want to take a chance. I'm just going to stick them down on this excess piece of white cardstock that I've got and make this into a page. Now I haven't measured this, so I'm thinking it's probably a good size for a journal. So it's 6 inches by 8.5 inches, which is a good size in terms of a journal. And if I want it 6 by 8, which is the size that I usually make, I can then trim it down. So I'm going to start by just cutting this. Just put my trimmer here. And then I will trim that down. Now actually I might trim it already as I go. So I've got that piece. I'm going to turn it around and trim the bottom so it's an 8-inch page. And that way it's ready to go in a journal, hopefully. I'll just get that measured correctly. So I've just cut a little bit off the top and bottom. And then in terms of the width, I said it was 6. So that means it's going to be perfectly 6 by 6. This page is 12 by 12, the white cardstock that I'm using. If I grab my score board now. So if I score this at 6 inches, it should score right down the edge of that page. And then I made a page. Now it's not quite, I don't know why. Let me just measure that again. It's 12. Oh, because I've scored it down the edge of this paper rather than 6 inches. But never mind, I can fix that. And I like to show you my mistakes, so if you make mistakes like that, you too can fix what you've done. So I'm going to start by grabbing a pencil, maybe one that's actually not blunt, although most of them seem to be. I'm going to line this up and make sure that score line is correct and my page is a good size in terms of it actually meets up, because obviously when I scored it, didn't score it correctly. And now I'm going to put a mark down here, put it back in the trimmer and just trim that little edge off. Now that might be a little bit too fiddly for some of you, but I think it will make a difference. If you make a bunch of pages that are 6 by 8, then you can just put them together in a journal really quickly. So if you don't have time to make a whole journal, at least you can make some of a journal page. You'll get a journal page done. Now the other thing I'm going to do, because this is white, is I'm going to cover it and I'm going to put a pocket in here. So I'm going to start with some paper. Now this paper, maybe I don't want to use the postcard, so I'll find another one. Let's see what else I've got here. I've got this one. Now this is 6 by 10 or something, I think. So it's actually quite good in terms of its size as well. This is one of the Stamperia ones that they put out recently that are long and skinny. That's from Around the World that I was using the other day. It's also Stamperia, but you can see that they match in really well. So they've just, a lot of their papers blend. They've got the same tones in them. Now I'm not sure because I don't want to cut that off there. That's going to bother me. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a point to cut it off, which is probably through here. I'll just do that. And then now I've got that piece that I can use later. This piece is going to go in here. Before I do that, I want to put something in here on the back. So that's going to be my pocket there. I'll just grab something else, hopefully also in those same tones. Now that's not quite big enough, but that would be perfect. Actually, what I'm going to use is this. This is the front cover of the Around the World paper that I used the other day. But if I put that in there, I can trim that down then. It's a little bit bigger and it creates some contrast between the two pieces. So I will do that. Let's just put some glue on here. Now I have to work out how far down I want to come. So yeah, I could measure it, but you know, I just prefer to do it like this. And put the glue, and then I will stick it down. Make sure I stick it down on the correct side, otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose. And then, because I've put it with that edge sticking out, I'll now trim that off. Now it's pretty quick to put in the cutter and just trim it then. And then this piece can go down on here, and I've got that lovely penny farthing right in the center there. So what I want to do before I put that in is probably put a notch in here, and that's not going to interfere with anything. Get my ruler, and it should be at the 3-inch mark that I want that notch. And here it is, my pencil. Just put a mark there. Then grab my, actually I'm going to use my little one today. Don't always have to use the 1.5 inch. This is the 1 inch, the Fiskars squeeze punch or whatever. I think they're called a squeeze punch. And just notch that out. So it's just a baby notch. And then I will put that down like that, so that I've now got a pocket in the back there. And then on the front I will need to do something as well. So I'll work on the front next. Just getting that. And it's often good to prep a number of pages, and then you don't have such an overwhelming task. You know, I know a few of you have mentioned, see how that's now, the pocket goes all the way through. I know some of you have mentioned in your comments that you struggle to put things down, and you're saying, you know, why, how come you can put them down so quickly? I can never do that. Well, I think that's just a matter of putting it down. Look, and if you don't like it, you cover it up. I don't get too precious about that. And that's also why I show you when I make mistakes, because I think it's important to realise that everybody makes mistakes. We're not perfect, and we do actually have problems and make mistakes. So I'm wondering if on the front I could also do another piece of that botanical. See if it's going to go in there. This one seems a lot longer than the other one. Just looking through at the light so that I can see whether or not that's going to go in, because I don't want to cut the border off. So maybe I've got something that's, maybe that other one was slightly smaller. I know my pages are all different. Look at that pretty one. I don't think that's going to cover the whole page though, is it? No, it's a different size again. Let's see what else we've got in here. So these ones, definitely a different size. So I have to go with the bigger ones like this. And that just seems really tall. Let me check. Yeah, see that line is much bigger than that one. It's a taller piece. For some reason that wasn't. I just got lucky when I chose that one. This one, yeah, that'll fit. Okay, I'm going to do this onions, I think they must be. So I'm going to do that now. I'll just grab my bits, put them away. And because that's slightly bigger, I'm just going to trim it. I know I have to be 6 by 8, so I can just bring it across and trim a little bit off that side, and then flip it and trim some more here. And then I need to be 8 inches tall, and I think I'm a fair bit more than that. Okay, so I'm going to take some off the bottom. I could actually put this into the cutter after I've stuck it on, actually. Now that I've done that, I might do that actually. Yeah, that'll be easier, like I did before. So I'm just going to open that up and put them in, making sure that I am fully on that piece. I definitely don't want those lines to be cut off, because it'll look a bit strange if it doesn't have the border around it, I think. Now, because I don't want to see that white, I'm just putting a piece of washi tape down over the edge, because I don't want to see the white of the spine once this paper goes down. So if I fold it like that now, you'll get a little bit of washi on this side, and now I can put this on and not worry that I've got a white spine showing. If that doesn't bother you, then don't worry about that. It's really, you know, you don't have to do it. It's just a personal thing for me, just to hide that white spine. So I am going to run glue up the top on the washi, and let's just get this one down as well. And then when I put it down, I have to make sure that my border is actually on the white paper, and then tuck it nice and tight up to that edge. Now when I put that down, you'll see I'm not going to have that white spine there because I've put the washi on there. But I need to chop it down now. It's a little bit too wide, so flip it over. And it probably helps if you wait for all this to dry, but because I'm doing it here on the camera, I don't really have the time to wait for it to dry, so I'm just going to chop it off, flip it around and do the same on the other side. I went to see my sisters yesterday. We're out of lockdown now. We still have mandatory masks for the next 2 weeks, but we are actually out of lockdown. And so I was able to go and visit with my sisters, which was good. I'm going to put this one in here. I know, you know, these probably aren't, they're definitely not matchy-matchy, but you're not going to see this. If this isn't in the center of the journal, you're not going to see that and that together. You're just going to see a page like that, and then you'll see that one, and you'll flip it over and see that one, and then you'll see whatever else I end up putting in the center. So it doesn't really matter that they're not matchy-matchy. And I like this piece, so I'm going to put it down in here. I need to find something for the top. See what else I've got in here. I think I might put this one. This is a piece of Tim Holtz paper, but it's got the same tones in it, so it's going to go quite well. We'll put that in. Oh, it's only just going to be big enough, I think. I'm not going to notch that because the man is on the bicycle and I don't want to notch into where his head is. So again, I'll stick this down and just be a bit more careful this time and measure where that's got to go. Yeah, so I went and saw my sisters yesterday. Anyway, we had lunch, which was great. And I gave them their school folders that I made for them. And they were pretty impressed, I've got to say. Yeah, they were pretty happy, which was great. They think I'm very clever because neither of them are crafty. So it's always fun, but they really, really liked them. And I didn't manage to get time to actually do an on-camera flip through of them. But I did take a couple of photos when I was there yesterday of them, looking at their new school folders. And so what I'm going to do is I will put that on Instagram, so that, and also my Facebook group, if you want to have a look at my sisters and how much they thought the folders were great. Let's make sure I can fold that up. Yep. So that will be going on to Instagram hopefully today. And the other thing I've done is on, must have been Friday or Thursday, I can't remember when, but I posted off my Happy Mail for June and July. So I did them both on the one day, but anyway, they're in the mail. And if you've joined my list, you may be receiving one, but you have to wait and see. Now, I don't like the white down the center, but when I bind that, you're probably not going to see it. You're probably not going to see that either, but now I've done it, I've done it. I guess that shows you if you do want to hide that white spine, that is a way to do it. Not the only way, just a way. So when I get that bound and there are other pages sitting in here, you're probably not going to see that white bit there. I do have to take that off though, because when I folded it, the paper moved because the glue was wet, and it's never going to butt up right next to it because that's got some, you know, because it's a paper, when you go like that, it's not going to butt right up. So it is going to move a little. Easy fixed just by trimming it down. and getting that nice clean edge on that side of the paper. So there you go, I've got that, and I've got a pocket in here. Then I've got that pretty lovely botanical, which I think these are gorgeous, and then I've got a long pocket in here. So having done that one, I might just do another one. I've got some other things. Actually, I want to use some of these. I love these botanicals. I cut the wrong way. There you go. And I'd really like to use a couple of these on in my book pages. So again, I'm just going to cut down this one so that it is 8 inches tall, because I know now I want 6 by 8. And then I will do my score at the 6-inch mark so that I can put down some paper. Grab my scoreboard. Get a score line through there. Now this is an old white basil cardstock, and if you know basil, you know what I'm talking about, but it is smooth on one side, and then on the other side it's got these tiny little ridges, but it doesn't really matter because I'm covering it anyway. However, you could leave it plain if you wanted to. You don't have to cover it all sides of the book page, and then you could use that for journaling on. So with this one, I don't want to get the words in here. I do want to get the lovely picture in, but you can see I'm not going to be able to get it all in. It's going to cut it off there, but I think that's enough. I think that will work. So I'm going to start by, once again, sticking one side of this page down, one side of the paper, I mean, the image into my page. And then you can just sort of stack these up. And so if you need to make a journal because you've got something coming up and you know you want to make a journal for a special occasion for somebody, a birthday or something, then you can just get them out, or just for your own journals really. And then you won't get as overwhelmed, I think, because you would have had these pages made up, and you'll be amazed how quickly your journal will come together. In fact, I did that one recently where I used all the sort of things that I had made to pull a journal together, and I really liked the outcome, and it was super quick, and it didn't feel painful at all. Because sometimes, you know, the creativity goes away and you think, what am I going to do? What's this page? You know, what am I going to put on this page? And it becomes a bit of a chore at times. Now I have some of this paper. This is really pretty. Look at the colours through there. Goes really well with the colours that are in this beautiful watercolour plant picture that I've got. Really nice. So I wanted to put that up the top here as the top part of the pocket, and then I'll find something for here. I do have, actually I've got some more of that Stamperia long paper. See if we can find something in this that's not going to be too difficult to put on. Probably go with that lady. Yeah, I might do the top part of her. I've also got cogs. I could do cogs. Oh, I could do this one. That one's nice. Okay, so now I've got this piece, and you can see the tones in this paper go really well with this beautiful watercolour image of this botanical that I've got. And then I've got the maps on the back. I'm thinking about where I'm going to put this. I'm thinking maybe I will cut it across here. I think that would be the way to go. So I'll just chop that down and just get that right on the top of that map. So that's going to go down here as the pocket piece, and then I'm going to use the reverse of this up here. I don't need to overlap it all. So I think, yeah, if I cut it there at the bottom of that map, I'll just do that on here before I do anything else. Now that's going to be too small, I think, but this one will go down far enough. I also cut that top off because this paper, sometimes you get the glue that's been used to stick the paper pad together, and I don't want that on there. I'm just going to choose which side, this side. Yeah, look how lovely that looks with my plant. Really nice. Okay, so I'll put this down now. It should be the right size in terms of height and width. It shouldn't be a problem really. I went out and had a look at some motorhomes this morning. Actually, I went back to the same dealer that I went to, I think a week or so ago with my husband, and I just wanted to take some measurements and have another look, because we're kind of progressing a bit with what we want. I think we've made a decision, but you never know, we might change our mind again. So I just went out and took some measurements, and I didn't actually have my tape measure with me. I ended up forgetting the tape measure even though I went to take measurements. And so what I did was, I had some dental floss in my purse and I used that as my measuring stick. But of course, as I pulled it out, it ran out. So I had to kind of just use it and go, well, it's, 2 times the length of the bit of floss that I had. I thought that was a bit of an alternative just to using my tape measure. And it was the only sort of long string thing that I had in my bag. I normally carry a little tape measure that my daughter got me, but for some reason that wasn't there either. So I forgot both the big proper ruler that I was going to take, the builder's ruler, and then I also forgot, or didn't have for some reason in that particular bag, I didn't have the little 1 meter ruler that my daughter got for me that I always carry. So I'm not sure where that's gone. That's really cute. I like that. I was thinking about whether I can make a little tag or something to put in there. I suppose I could, couldn't I? All right, so then I think I'll just do that again. I think I'll put something on here. Now I have this one, which is pretty cool. And it's a bit big for there though. I've also got this one, which is the maidenhair fern. Maybe I'll use that one. I like this one a lot. But I want to cut it down first. I'm going to cut it to 6. And hopefully I'll cut it correctly because I don't want to ruin it. It's the only one I've got of this particular thing. And then to 8. And that gets rid of the name that's on there, and I don't want that on there. This is beautiful. Look at that. Really nice. I'll just check that I've got that up the right way and pop this one on. And of course you can always put something over the top of these. You don't have to leave them as they are. When you sort of take another look at them, you might find as you're using these pages you've made, or any pages, not just these ones, that you want to add something to them. And that's always an option. Don't think that you have made a page and therefore you don't want to add anything to it. I think you need to look at it and say, well, that's lovely. I might add something on this later on. I might put some paper dolls on there. I might put, another pocket down here. Actually, that looks quite cool. It's upside down, but it looks nice. So I could do another pocket on here, couldn't I, with the fern at the top? Yeah, okay, so you could do things like that. Just depends what you want to do. And I do want to finish this and get this page done as well. Let me see if I've got another piece of that Stamperia paper, which I have. Look at these crazy binoculars, they're lovely. I don't want to cut that off there though, unfortunately. I just think that's going to be a pity if I chop through those cogs. I do have the maps again, don't I? I could actually put that here like I did before. And then let's just see where that comes to. So what I could do is I could trim around the cogs like this. I might do that just for something different. And then that is going to be the pocket part. So I'm going to start by just picking a point and just trimming. Then just go down around into this. and then up again. If this doesn't look any good, I can always chop it off. It's not the end of the world. If I don't like what I've done for some reason, you know, that certainly happens. I think of an idea, and when I execute the idea, it actually doesn't look any good. We'll see how this one goes. So if I just go down and cut around this curve and just taper it to the end there, and then if I put that here, now the problem is I've got a bit of white paper there. See how I've got that white bit of paper? Okay, so this needs to be longer, so I can't use that. And that's got cogs on the other side. I can't use that. Let's find something that I can use. I don't really want to use that one. Here you go. This has got a lot of sayings on it. Let's see, which bits would I be able to live without? Probably that top bit, I think. I'm just going to mark where that comes to, which is about there, and give it a chop. Oh, hang on. I haven't cut that through properly, which is a pity, isn't it? But luckily that's going to be hidden. You're not going to see it. And then I'm going to slip this down here like this. And then that's going to go on top. So you've got a bit of a different pocket there. Let's get it down. I think I'm quite happy with these pages. I'll add them to my stash, and then I can continue and use them at another time. And I like the Stamperia papers, and these colours really blend well with the botanical papers that I'm using. All you have to be careful of when you do this is, first of all, I'm going to trim this up, it's a bit wrong. All you need to be careful of is that you don't put the glue on the wrong part. So make sure it's on the right side. Now I could also put it on that side, but I think I like this side. Just, it's the same, but I like the pocket to come here. So I will put it down on this side. Get this down. And that is pretty good. Okay, let's just do that. All right, now I've got another pocket in here. So I've got more pages with 2 pockets on them. I like that. I like that pocket looks a bit different because I've cut round that. I must remember that idea for the next time when I want to do something like that. I'm just thinking whether I should do some tags. I think that may be a good idea, just to bang out a couple of tags to put in these pockets. And I'm wondering what I've got. Now, if I put this on here, so that's that way, the clocks are not going to be up the correct way. I don't suppose that matters, but maybe it matters to me. I just can't bring myself to do that. See what else I've got here. I really like these, they're beautiful. Let's see. I've got that piece that I was toying with before. And I'm just seeing with that, put that in here. It's not going to get lost, it's not going to go all the way. I might make a tag for this as well while we're here. Which side do I like? I think I like this side, so I'll put this down. This is another bit of leftover. It's always good to use your leftovers, and my 12 by 12, what I call 12 by 12 paper scrap box is getting a little bit full. So I've been doing a bit lately, particularly when I did the things for my sisters. I've got a whole heap of 12 by 3 inch papers now that I need to use up. So I have to think of a way I can use those. So if I now little bit of sticky on it. There you go, that's come up. Now I just trim that. I don't like that white. I'm going to trim the very edge. The piece wasn't quite wide enough for the paper, but now that's fixed. And then, as usual, I just do a couple of little bits off the corner because I like that look. So it makes it into a tag rather than a bit of paper in my mind. And I've got a nice white surface of cardstock on the back to write on, and slip that in there. And I'm thinking, what else have I got? Now, I think that is going to get lost. It might not because I've got that side cut out. So I have to find something else that can go on there. Maybe I can put one of these on here. Let's see. No, but that's a good idea. I might keep that in mind for the next one. Okay. And so many papers here, it's hard to know, isn't it? Actually, what I'm going to do is, I've got this, which are the postcards left over from the around the world that I was doing. I might cut some of these out and put them in. So to make life easier, to minimise my fussy cutting, I'll put this right on the edge and get that done, and then I'll turn it around because I always think it's easier, like when you've got two and you want to cut that one off, is to get on the edge here. When I do it like that and get on the edge, it never seems to work properly. It always seems to be not cut. There's always a bit of a tiny bit that I can't seem to get to, so that's just what I do. So I always make sure the bit that I want to keep is on the left in the cutter, and the piece I'm cutting off is sticking out. You might be better at that than I am, but for some reason it just doesn't work for me. I don't know whether these might be a bit too small for the actual book, but never mind, I'll put them in if I can. Now, so I've now got those two. Let's see if they will go in here, or it'll be a bit too small. That one should be okay because it's sticking up. It's almost getting lost. It's just getting lost a little bit. I think it's not quite good, but I think I've got a smaller pocket here. And I've got like a travel theme because I've got balloons and things, and so putting, you know, the train in, actually what I could do is put this one in as well, because that's really going to match in well, but it's still a transport theme. So I can pop that one in there. And then this one here on the back, that's going to be way too tall. The postcard will get lost in there. So I won't use that particular postcard in this little page, but I'll just find something else that's going to fit in there. I do have the cogs, or the clocks. Yeah, so let's see. Got this whole page of clocks here. I was wondering if I could cut some of those out and put them in. Let's see. I could probably go to here. Although I might have chopped too much off this, and the 12s are all... Where's the 12? The 12s are there. Okay, so that should work actually. Alright, so I'm just going to cut this piece here. Get rid of that. And then I've got a cut through there. But if I take those 6, it'll be good. Hopefully. And then if that is too big, hopefully it's not. It is a tiny bit. I'm going to trim a bit off this edge. And that way, hopefully it's going to fit. Let's see how that goes now. That's fine. There you go. So I do have a blank piece at the back. I'm not sure if I need to put something on there or not. You can always stick like a picture or something on there. You don't have to just journal. You could do something else on the back of that. And so that one's done, and now I've got just this tall one here actually. Actually, I might grab those clocks. Change my mind here. I think the clocks might look quite good in here because they're all the same sort of shape. They're round. I might put that one in there. Yeah. And then with this one, I'm actually going to put this in. It's plenty big enough. I'm just going to cut it down to, let's see, 7.5 probably. I want that lovely teal at the top. And that can go into this one. There you go. And it's going to fit really well. So now, like I said, when you put these into your journal, even though, you know, I haven't got the same match with, you know, those two don't match, when you put it in, depending on the order you have your pages, then you'll see that, and then you'll see those two, or for example, and then those two, and then you'll come here and see those two. So you don't have to have them so everything is the same on every page, because once you get them in, you're not going to have that problem. Now this one is a tiny bit wider than that one for some reason. Oh, I know why. Because when you put one inside the other, the center one will poke out more. And the reason they're poking out quite a bit is because I have a piece of fairly heavy white cardstock. The basil is quite a heavy cardstock. Then I've got a page from a book on one side. Then I have 2 pieces of scrapbooking paper, and so it is quite thick. But once you bind that and pull it together, it's not going to be out as much as what it is there. So that's it. That's it for today. I hope you liked that idea, and maybe you've got some botanicals that you also want to use, and that's a way to kind of use them, particularly if you've got a lot of them and you think, I really want to get these into something. This is a really quick solution to getting something in. And then, as I said, you can then go at the end, once you start to use them, and add more onto these pages. You don't have to leave them as they are. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching today. This is Deborah. Cheers.